Just as a quick heads up before we start the episode, this episode has a content warning on it. There are some pretty graphic descriptions of violence in it. Just heads up.
Here we go.
Infinite lives. We got infinite lives. Never say never. We're gonna live forever. Infinite.
Hey, party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host, as always, Jeff Stormer. This week I am joined by Cole Burkhardt from the Blue Dawn cast for a game of The Hour Between Dog and Wolf. Blue Dawn is an actual play podcast using the Dungeon World system to tell some interesting sci-fi, fantasy, horror hybrid stories. It's neat. You should check it out. You can find a link to that in the show notes. The Hour Between Dog and Wolf is a frankly unnerving role-playing game about the cat and mouse dynamics of an investigator and a serial killer. The Hour Between Dog and Wolf is a frankly unnerving role-playing game about the cat and mouse dynamic of an investigator and a serial killer. It explores not only the question of can the hero catch the villain, but it also explores what that says about society, the hero's own stability, and the different ways that these two forces sort of feed into one another and become intertwined as the case goes on. It's really neat. You should check it out. A link can be found in the show notes. Before we get started, a quick note that there are currently 3 seats left in the Worldwide Wrestling game that I'm running for Lawful Good Gaming on May 13th at 3 p.m. If you like wrestling or role-playing games or this show, you should check it out. The cost of play is just a $10 donation to the Southern Poverty Law Center. So join me, won't you? You can find more information at bit.ly/PO1wrestling. And with all that out of the way, let's throw it over to me in the past so he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week, I'm joined by Cole Burkhardt. Cole, thank you for coming on Party of One.
Thank you for having me.
So, up top at the top of the show, why don't you talk about anything you might want the listeners to know about, any cool podcasts you might be a part of, projects you're working on, that sort of thing.
Cool. Well, I am part of an amazing podcast, called Blue Dawn. We had one of my co-hosts, Dan Sost, come on earlier, a few episodes earlier, and Blue Dawn is an actual play podcast. It means that a bunch of us kind of sit around a microphone and play this really cool game called Dungeon World, which is an offset of Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of a sci-fi fantasy story, and it's a lot of fun. It's very inclusive, and I really love it. You guys should go check it out.
That's fantastic. I love Dungeon World a whole lot. It's one of my favorite games. It's real good, though.
Yeah.
It's real good. So, so this week, we are playing The Hour Between Dog and Wolf. It is a game that I am a little nervous about playing, but I'm tremendously excited.
It's definitely something a heck of a lot. Can we curse? Should I not curse?
Yeah. No, you can go. Please, go ahead.
Okay, cool. It is a hell of a lot different than anything that I have ever been a part of.
Yeah, I am. I have not felt this nervous about a game since probably The Bite, which is famous among Party of One episodes as an episode that I was very nervous about. But it is about the chase between a police officer or the chase between an investigator, I should say, because there's a lot of different flavors that could take, and a serial killer. Would you like to play the investigator or the killer?
I actually kind of did a little bit of character work off screen because I wasn't 100% sure.
Fantastic. What do you got?
But I do have an investigator.
Perfect.
Kind of
that works. That works because I was actually doing some character work off screen and had an idea of a killer off screen. So this is serendipitous.
Well, good.
Okay. Cool. Well, so then let me pull out the first thing that is very cool about this game is it has a framing table that has a grid of details that we'll fill in and questions we might want answered during play that we'll fill out right now. So, so what we're going to do is each of us is going to pick 4 details and put it somewhere on the table. So, why don't you go first if you have a trait or a fact about your investigator, and we'll fill it in on the table.
Okay, so, I'm doing a private investigator,
okay.
Or rather, I'd like to try and do a private investigator.
Cool.
Whose brother, rather, when she was still a cop before she quit, her brother was also a cop on the same force with her.
That makes sense. Okay. Like, my victim is bankers and corporate, corporate types. Money handlers. Fat cats. Mm-hmm. Corporate victims.
So, my private investigator, who I'm deciding I'm going to name Athens McKenzie, she...
That is a great name.
Thank you. It was actually it was a name that I was gonna try and use in Blue Dawn, and then it just never came up, and I'm like, I want to use it for something. So I'm glad I got to put it to use. So she is married, and I believe her wife sells drugs on the side.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. That's neat. I am going to put as my fact that my person works in a convenience store.
Okay. I kind of want to go with something like, my mother doesn't support my quote-unquote lifestyle.
Oh, I like that. That's neat. That's good. I really like that. Mine is, I am... let me see what types of things. I think they just say whatever you want to put on it.
They do give a list. Hold on. Because I was looking at it earlier. I want to say page 38.
Right.
Yeah, so, sinners must be punished. My mother locked me in a shed for days at a time.
I'm gonna say, I like that. I like some variation of sinners must be punished. I'm going to say, it's sort of a deranged idealism. Power to the people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I feel that's sort of my motivating thing, I think.
I like that.
And so you get, I think, one more, and then we start asking questions, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, yeah. They have a daughter.
Cool. Perfect.
Who... I think whose name is, Gwen or something.
Gwen is good.
Gwyneth.
Gwyneth. Gwyneth is good. Okay, so now the next part of character creation is we both ask the other person 4 questions, and
sorry, I think I'm missing one of yours.
Oh, you're right. I skipped my 4th thing because we were going back and forth, and it came to me, and I skipped mine. I will say my father was a banker.
Okay.
Or a bank teller, I'm gonna say. I think it's specifically like a low-level thing.
Okay. So, he may have gotten screwed over by a big banker.
Yeah, or it may just be that he didn't like his job and sort of, fed a lot of, man, this sucks. If I had my way.
Okay,
and sort of a lifetime of that. So, we each have 4 questions to ask the other person, and that's going to fill in the other half of the framing table. We can answer them, or we can leave them hanging and answer them in play. I'm probably going to leave them hanging. But
okay.
But if it's something that I feel like I can answer up front, I will. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that I think is going to be more interesting to sort of, dig into later.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you like to come up with a question first, or should I?
You can go first.
How has the system wronged Athens?
I think just being a chick in the police force is tough.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
There's just a lot of macho, fat-headed dudes who, don't take police women seriously. Right.
The system is shitty. And that makes, that makes perfect sense. It is the system is shitty, and there are a lot of shitty attitudes therein. So that makes a lot of sense. So I like that a lot.
As for you, who was your first victim?
For that, I will answer. I think it was a loan officer. It started fairly small. It was a loan officer.
Mm-hmm.
Name was Jonah Lawrence. And it was a spur of the moment blitz that then sort of fed into a larger, more damaging
Right.
experience.
Okay.
What was the case that got you a reputation?
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
I mean, we can also leave it unanswered if it's something that you think would be more interesting to discover and play.
I am not positive on that. I think I'm gonna leave it for now.
Okay.
Oh, I do like this one. It's from the list. What does your character have that belongs to me?
I have, tying into that first victim, I have loan documents that have your name on them.
Ooh. All right.
But as to what that loan was, I think that's a play thing. I think that's a find out and play.
Oh yeah.
My question is, who is your normal clientele?
I think since Athens quit the force, and became a private investigator, I think times are getting a little tough, and so she's having to take cases like, oh, I think my husband is cheating on me, or I need to make sure that they're not like, that they're stealing from me, or things like that.
Low rent cases.
Yes.
Got it. Love that.
Why do you hate your job?
I don't know if I have an answer to that. Because all of my answers, I feel like, would be things that he wouldn't hate about his job. So I'm going to say find out. I'm going to put that as find out and play. Okay. And for my last question to you, aside from your brother, do you have any friends on the force?
I think I used to. Rather, I think I used to have, I was friends with another female officer who got killed in the line of duty. Alright, and last one. Do you have loved ones you're hiding your secret from?
Yes, I am seeing someone. His name is Gary. He's nice.
Aww.
We have 3 stats. We each start out with 3 plot points, which we can use to insert ourselves into play, add things to our roles, etc. We also start out with 10 points in the officer starts out with 10 points in obsession, stability, or conscience.
No, it's, I get 10 points total.
That's what I meant, yeah. You're right, yeah. Split in between, yeah.
Yes.
10 points split in between obsession, stability, and conscience. And the killer has 10 points split in between compulsion, cunning, and control.
And I have my stats already.
I have mine as well. Okay. Do
we...
And with that, should we read them out, or yeah, we should read them out so that we both have them. Yeah. So my compulsion and cunning are 4, and my control is 2.
And my obsession is 4, my stability is 5, and my conscience is 1.
Alright. And you begin with 0 stress or 1 stress? It's 0 stress, right?
I believe 0.
Yeah. And then 1, and then let me look up exactly how much evidence and victims we both start out with. So yeah, okay, so victims, we begin with compulsion minus obsession or 1. So your compulsion is 4, so 1 victim. And evidence is obsession minus cunning. Your obsession is 4, so 1 also 1.
Okay.
Alright, so now with all that done, we are ready to start the game. So, the way this works is I'm going to set up the first scene. I'm going to set up a murder scene.
Okay.
It does not impact the total number of victims. So in this case, it's I guess that first kill. Oh no, this is the first person that I killed doesn't need to be the first victim marked. This is just the first one that you're aware of.
Right.
So, okay. So the first scene is just a murder. It doesn't impact any rolls or anything. It is simply to set the tone of what is happening and to sort of set the tone of the investigation that follows.
Mm-hmm.
So, 8:36 p.m. Tuesday, April 18th, 2017. Marcus St. Alabaster walks through his front door, puts his briefcase down, takes off his tie, puts it over a chair. The door starts to swing shut behind him, but it doesn't close. Normally it would click shut. It's a fancy door, it closes, but something has stopped it. You see it's a hand. Throws open the door. Marcus is immediately thrown off. He's immediately very confused. He turns around. He's old, but he's not feeble. He's sort of in his late 50s. White hair, bald, but sort of long-ish. Sort of maintaining that illusion that he could still have long hair and be cool. Turns around, is immediately shocked by a man in a dirty, grease-stained smock and underneath a leather jacket. Shotgun under his right arm. And a handful of dirty, crinkled, sort of like a wrinkly stack of dollar bills in his left hand. Takes a step forward, sort of trying to find the words, starts mumbling a string of disjointed sentences about people to the power, truth to the people to the people, and he starts throwing the dollar bills around, tossing them left and right. Marcus tries to run, but the first shotgun shell goes off, catches him in the knee. He drops down. Keeps screaming, keeps throwing the dollar bills around, scattering them around, and starts saying, calling, pig, fat cat, scum, ruiner of lives, ruiner of my life, ruiner of me, you ruined me. Barrel of the shotgun right between the eyes. And we cut to the next scene. With that big shotgun blast, cuts to black, cuts to the title card.
I like it.
So, as the investigator, you frame the first scene. You can, if you have a scene in mind you want to go with, or if you can choose to roll on the framing table. I've got it written out in front of me on a thing, so I can roll on it.
Okay.
If you want to roll on the framing table and just read off the results.
Let's do that for this first scene. I trust you to be truthful about this about these rolls.
Yeah, for sure. No, I rolled 7 6s and you rolled only 1s. So great, good. Things are looking good for no. Okay, so the way this is going to work is I'm going to roll a number of black 6-sided dice equal to my compulsion, which is 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to roll a number of white 6-sided dice equal to your obsession, which is also 4.
Yes.
So I'm going to roll 4 black and 4 white 6-sided dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to roll these on the table, and we'll see where they land. Okay. So, once the dice are rolled, we find the highest number rolled within a circle and note which sectors those are landed on. When the upcoming scene is framed, we'll use the contents of that sector with the highest dice on it in the scene. If multiple dice rolled the highest number, or if it is on multiple sectors, both of which are true, you may choose to apply just one or multiple indicated sectors. You may also choose to ignore the results of the roll entirely. The high rolls are a white and black 6, so neither of us get an additional plot point in this.
Okay.
And we have 3 vectors to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
We have Gary, who is nice. We have Athens' wife, who sells drugs on the side. And we have the fact that I never named my character. His name is Vic Lazenby.
Lazenby?
Lazenby. So we have the three vectors we have to choose from are Gary, who is nice, Athens' wife, who sells drugs on the side, and the fact that the fact that Vic works in a convenience store. With those in mind, you may choose whichever of your scenes you want to choose and set it up, and we'll play it out.
I think like a personal scene is the only thing that would really make sense with the ones that we rolled.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, let's go with that.
Okay. Yeah. So so a personal scene is, I believe, let me pull up the exact description, but I believe it is you interacting with someone not associated with the case.
And so I'm thinking it's like, hold on. I'm thinking it's like Athens comes home to find, like, her wife, who I'm gonna name, like, Lizzie. Athens comes home to find Lizzie, like, in the middle of a deal while their daughter is sitting in, like, the room over.
I love that. That's good. It's brutal, but it's real good. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so this is framed by the killer, so I'm going to frame the scene. So you've just come off of a case. A husband wanted you to spy on his wife he thought was cheating. Turns out she wasn't cheating. Turns out she was just doing yoga. So you come home, not even really like a great story to tell, just a job, just a paycheck. And your wife, Lizzie, is very shocked to see you. She's like, "Oh, Athens, you're home earlier than expected. I kind of thought that case was going to have a little more, intrigue. Look, it's fine. It's fine. Just let me say up front that it's fine."
Yeah, it turned out to be simpler than I thought it was. Are you serious with this? Like,
I don't... Babysitter canceled, and I didn't really have another option.
You could have... I don't know, you could have called me, or maybe not done it in the house. You know...
I couldn't really take her to a CRACK.
I mean, you could have... Fuck, what about one of the neighbors? Or, like, you could have just not done it. You could have gotten an actual...
I'm sorry. No, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. This is the last time. You know what? This is it. I'm sorry. Will that make you feel better if this is the last time?
I don't know, Lizzie. Yes, for now, yes. I don't...
Okay, then this is it. Then this is it. Okay, so I think that's a good point for the roll.
Yes.
Right? So, okay. So the way this is going to work is you're going to roll a number of dice equal to your stability.
Which I believe is just one.
Let me check. Yes. Oh, your stability's 5.
Oh, okay. Shoot, hold on.
Your stability is your strong suit at 5. And I am going to roll a number of dice equal to my compulsion. We can both choose to add additional dice to this based at the cost of a plot point each. I am not going to.
Yeah, me neither.
So I'm going to roll 4 dice. You're going to roll 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just whoever gets the high roll wins the scene.
Okay. My highest roll was a 5.
Mine was also a 5. So what was your second highest?
A 3.
Okay, my second highest was a 4. So
All
this
right.
is a failure. So you can choose to decrease your No, you should decrease your stability and conscience by 1.
Cool. I don't know what happens when I reach 0 conscience.
Yeah, in that case, it drops stability by 1. So, and the transition to the next scene, since I'm going to pick my scene next, is, I'm going to go with, I'm going to call it an investment scene.
Okay.
It is a scene in which the killer becomes invested in their fantasies. No, actually, I'm going to call this a manipulation scene, but it's not going to directly involve Vic, because this is going to be the scene where Athens gets the call about needing an extra set of eyes on this.
Okay.
That makes sense. So I am going to roll on the table, see what we want to add to it. That is high number 6. It landed in the middle of 4. Landed in the middle of 4 vectors. I'm going to take a plot point for my dice, as I have the high roll as a black 6. So I get a plot point. It landed squarely in the middle of loan documents, Lizzie, who sells drugs, a disapproving mother, and Gary, who is nice. Okay, I know the scene exactly then.
Okay.
Moments after this, like, you're having this argument. And, you know, it's that post-argument lull where you're just kind of not talking to each other. You're still, like, you're both still upset, but you're kind of just like, let's give each other space.
Yeah.
Let's calm down. Lizzie comes up to you with a small stack of index cards. And she's like, hey, listen, don't mind me. I'm going to give you your space. But, I have, what's the thing called, messages. I have messages, for you. They called the landline.
Oh, right, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go. Bye. And
Yeah.
she ducks out. And you have a few messages. One from your mother. And it just says, call me. Because she does that. No matter what it is. That doesn't give you a real good sense, but...
I'm gonna crumple that one up and toss it.
Great. You have one from the bank, which says, like, an urgent matter requires your... an urgent matter, RE, your in-process home loan. And you have one from a McMurphy and Associates that just says, please contact us at your earliest convenience. We have a matter that requires your utmost discretion and particular set of skills.
Ooh, I think I'd call the home loan first. Or the loan office first.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I have to go through, like, 5 different machines and, like, computerized voices and to finally get the person that, like...
Yeah, and you go through it once and it just kicks you right back to the start. And you go through it a second time.
And then I get frustrated.
But you get a whole...
Yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get, like, frustrated with, like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
You finally get a hold of a loan officer. She's a scare, like just a tiny little, can't be older than 20.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hi, this is Carol at First National. How are you?
I'm good. I got a message, something about my home loan?
Oh, yes, would you be able to resubmit that paperwork by Tuesday? There was an incident, and before the documents could be scanned, they were unfortunately, this is kind of a little embarrassing, they were stolen.
What? Wait, they were, like stolen? Like...
There was an incident. We're not quite at liberty to discuss it because of an ongoing police investigation.
You're not at liberty to discuss my personal information being stolen. Like,
I'm sorry. Let's make a roll for this.
Okay.
I want to know if you're gonna convince her or if she's gonna stonewall you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll this. You're rolling your stability,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm rolling my control, which is 2. Okay. All right. My high roll was 3.
I've already gotten a 6.
Great. You're good.
I've gotten 2 6s.
Great. So, a failure on my end decreases my control by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, she's stammering out like there's an ongoing police Okay. And she kind of like you get your cell phone buzzes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a text from an unknown number, but this area code, and it just says, "This is Carol. This text never came. Loan officer murdered.
Oh.
Documents stolen.
Oh.
Money scattered about. Gruesome scene.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. Please don't tell my boss."
Thank you for your help, Carol. I'm gonna have to call you back.
That's fine. I understand. I'm so sorry that I couldn't do more. I'm sorry I couldn't give you more information. There's an ongoing police investigation. Have a great day, though.
You too. And I'm gonna hang up and call the person who left me that second message. Because I think I get it.
Yeah. So you call them, and they lay out the details. They explain that they need you to look into this because one of their reps this is the second First National rep that's been taken out. This, Saint Alabaster, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Marcus was the second rep at First National that has been targeted. And I think as they're laying this out, we cut over briefly, ever so briefly, to Vic, who is laying out all the things. He's just like, he's kind of walking back and forth and feeling really good, but he kind of gets a quick glance over to the massive papers at his desk, and he's like, "Why did I take them? Why did I take them? Why did I take them? Why did I take them?" And then we get to the next scene.
Maybe he's trying like really hard not to look through the papers, but you just know it's killing him that he wants to, he wants to.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, should we figure out who won that scene?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you won that scene. I failed that scene, so I decreased my control by 1, which is Vic freaking out about having these papers.
Right.
And now we should briefly check for endgame, which I don't think we've passed, since we only have 1 victim.
Evidence. It can either be evidence has to be more than my cunning plus control, or victims have to outnumber conscience plus stability, which I don't think we've gotten yet.
No. Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, then in that case, you set the next scene.
Do you want to give me another roll?
Yeah, absolutely. The high number is a 5 white, so give yourself a plot point.
Cool.
And it is Athens is a woman in a man-dominated field. That is
of course. I think it has to be investigation.
Yeah, I think this is naturally an investigation.
She ends up going to the house of Marcus and checking over the scene and combing it over, and the police force is gonna be its usual confrontational self.
So there's blood everywhere. It's a grisly scene. The blood-spattered $1 bills are all around, which is weird. It's, the door doesn't appear forced open, but isn't closed either.
Right.
There are cop cars and police tape all around. You arrive on the scene, and immediately Captain Chip Hanley kind of stops you.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry, that's such a perfect cop name.
I feel real good about it. I felt real good about that one. Chip Hanley stops you and he's like, hey, you got a reason to be here?
Evening, officer. How are you doing tonight?
You know, I'm doing all right. The wife is... She's...
Yanking your
I'm
chain?
doing all right. Yeah, you know how it is.
Of course.
I'm so wait. Why am I being friendly with you? Come on, you can't be
Sorry,
here, Athens.
officer.
You know
No,
that.
I have actually. Oh, did we get the group name? Like the group that hired me? I didn't write that down.
Yeah, it was. McMurphy and Associates.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that, officer. I have actually been hired by McMurphy Associates to investigate this case. This being the second case with a big banker is kind of putting them on edge, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you know, you kind of and he looks around and you can tell he's almost sympathetic and he's almost an alright dude, and he's like, you kind of quit, you kind of couldn't cut it, and
you know, a lot of things went down with me leaving, and if I could come back, I would, but I got a pretty stable job here, and I want to be able to help you guys out, so why don't you help me help you?
Okay, but, like, you can't be getting emotional. You know?
Emotional? No worries, officer. You won't hear a peep from me.
Alright. Yeah, so you go inside. Let's go ahead and make that roll to see, like, if you pick up on anything.
Okay.
You're gonna roll your obsession, and I'm gonna roll my cunning. So I'm rolling 4.
Oh my god.
Oofa loofa. I got a 4.
I rolled a 6 and 3 1s.
Well, my high roll was a 4, so you win. So you increase the evidence by 1.
Awesome.
So the evidence increases by 1. Yeah, so what you see these dollar bills, and the weirdest thing, the thing that you see that catches your eye immediately is this Marcus fella. Mm-hmm. High class guy, snob. Real look, you could tell he was a real piece of work.
Yeah.
Not the kind of guy that would get a donut from the Quick and Cheap.
Probably not.
But yet there's that donut wrapper on the floor. You look around, because, you know, there are cops, but these donuts are from the Donut Hut. Like, they're the nice donuts. They're not the Quick and Cheap.
Cops got to spring for something a little bit more high class.
Yeah. So that's weird. It's weird that that's there.
Interesting.
And now we actually cut to a second scene, which is frame and narrate another short scene of Athens examining this evidence, and then you actually make another roll. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, actually you can choose, and then you actually get a choice of what you want to do.
Okay. I think we see Athens. Like, she has a pair of not pliers. She has a pair of like tweezers, and is not tweezers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The evidence collectors.
Yeah, evidence collectors, and is like checking out the dollar bills and seeing if like the codes are the same on it. And then she moves and starts like poking and prodding at the body, and I think she notices the bullet holes, one in his knee and one in his head, and then picks up the donut wrapper, and then she like, I love it. She looks around and makes sure that like none of the other cops are looking, and slips it into her pocket, almost like it's
I love that.
a piece of trash she's getting rid of. Like,
I love it. Absolutely love it. So, you have a choice. You can either increase your evidence by 1, or decrease my cunning by 1.
What's your cunning at right now? Hold on.
My cunning is at 4.
4? I think I'm going to decrease your cunning. Because
that makes sense.
You dropped a piece of evidence at the crime scene.
Yeah.
That was a big mistake on your part.
And I think that you see a little bit of like grime on it in the shape of a shoe. Yeah. Like right on the corner, so it's like it was stuck on my foot when I drew it over. Right. But like that's definitely something that I should have noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. Then I'm going to do, for my next scene, I'm going to roll the dice, but I think I'm going to do an investment scene, which is in which the killer trolls for potential prey.
Okay.
And the high roll is a 6 white. It is on low rent cases.
Oh.
Alright, so you get a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
And I set the scene. I'm trolling for prey. I think we cut to a few days later. Mm-hmm. Things are quiet. There's no real leads. You get a call. I think so. I'm trolling for a potential. Yeah, the way this scene is going to work is I am framing it. Mm-hmm. And I am the framer and the active participant, but you can feel free to add anything you want at the cost of 1 plot point.
Right.
So the way this works is you get a call a couple days later from a low rent, just an ordinary case of like, hey, my family's vase went missing. We don't know we don't know if one of our kids just broke it and is lying about it, or if like my brother, who's trash, took it. Mm-hmm. Could you like make sure he didn't steal it because it's got sentimental value?
Oh, absolutely. I will return I will make sure that everything ends up in the right hands.
Yeah. So you start investigating this, and the brother definitely took it, but the thing of note is that the brother is a bank, like, account rep. Mm-hmm. He's a sleazebag. The kind of guy that would steal a family vase. But he's an account exec for, like, First National.
Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't need the vase, but he wants the vase.
Yeah, he just wants it, and he figures he can take it. Mm-hmm. So, you see this, and as you are walking out... Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's make our roll, because I know exactly what I want to happen. Okay. Or not to happen accordingly. So I'm going to roll my cunning, which is 3, and I'm going to add that 4th dice at the cost of my plot point. My plot points.
And
So I'm going to roll 4.
Hold on. Where's that cheat sheet?
You are rolling your conscience.
Right. Oh.
Which is 1.
Yeah.
And you may choose to add dice to that at the cost of plot points.
I'm gonna add. I think I can only do a total of 2. Oh, I can't seem to find it. I'll just.
You might only need 2 because I rolled a 3.
Okay. I'll do 1 extra plot point. I did a 4.
Yeah. So. You succeeded at the scene. I failed at the scene. This is not going great for me. This is an investment scene failure. I'm dropping my conscience and compulsion by 1. Oh, no, your conscience goes up by 1. My compulsion goes down by 1. Okay,
cool. I have a little bit more. Oh, I think something happens if I go over 10. Hold on.
I think if any one thing goes over 7, then you have the option of doing an illumination scene.
Okay.
And I think other than that, this represents like the general nature of the world.
Okay.
Okay, so I narrate a failure. So you're investigating. You see that he's got the vase. It's right in the window. He's not even hiding it. Easy case, easy money, easy paycheck. You're walking out. You physically bump into a Quick and Cheap employee who is just like strolling up the street two of you bump into each other, and he kind of like,
Sorry about that, sir.
And like kind of just walks off, and just mumbling to himself. There's not a quick and cheap in this neighborhood.
I think. Oh, I want to like continue this scene. I think I snap a picture of him.
Okay, yeah, he kind of like. You get a picture, and he's kind of turning back over, like, face over the shoulder, as he's kind of, like, mumbling at you. So you get that great shot of him walking away, but is looking back at you.
Just that,
it's
like,
real ominous
creepy
looking.
over-the-shoulder look.
Yeah. All right. And that is my scene. It is your turn. I'm going to give a roll on the framing table. You can use it or choose not to.
Okay.
High number is, again, a white 6. So you get that plot point back. Wow, this is perfect. Right on the middle of low rent cases and corporate victims. How's that for serendipity?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I end up going to... What I kind of like the narrative of is, Athens goes to the convenience store and
okay,
like runs.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's
Vic, or like as he's leaving, or as he's coming back, or.
Yeah, I think that's perfect because I think it's right at closing time then. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna frame the scene. It's an investigation scene.
Mm-hmm.
So the scene is you pull up. It's late. You know, you kind of had to like figure out what quick and cheap was sort of closest.
Yeah.
And you kind of noticed that, like, the bank that you applied for a loan at and Marcus's place and this place, there's a quick check within a short drive of all three. So you pull up, but it's real close to closing. It's pretty late, 9:30, 10-ish. I don't know why a convenience store would close that early, but whatever. That's what I've said. We're going with it.
I was gonna say I walk up, like, right as he's, like, closing, and he's, like, in the process of locking up the door and making sure that everything's swept and, like, counters cleaned and things like that.
Yes. He's locking the door, and it is way earlier than a convenience store should close. That is a consciously weird thing, and not just me picking a time that's too early.
And I do that, like...
Yeah, so it's way
too early, and I do that, like, that rude customer thing where they just bang on the door, like, let me in, I want to buy stuff from your store.
And he's just sweeping, and he just looks up at you for a real long time, and, like, he looks up at you, and he goes back to sweeping, and he looks up at you again, and his eyes start to go wide for a second, and he starts, like, pointedly sweeping, and he looks up at you a third time, and kind of eyes go back a little bit, and he sort of gets this look of deep thought for a second, and he thinks, and you see, like, a finger go up of recognition, and he kind of walks over and unlocks the door and says, Can I help you with something?
The sign says you guys don't close till 1. Why are you locked up?
Doing inventory. Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, come on in. Yeah, you can shop here. You can shop here, Athens. You can shop here.
I saw you a few days ago.
No, probably not. I mean, were you in here? Did you need to return something?
Listen, and I think, do you mind if I asked you, I'm sorry, what is your name? I'm Athens.
Athens, I'm Vic. I'm Vic. I know my own name, I'm Vic.
I would hope so. Listen, do you mind if I asked you a couple questions, Vic? You seem like a reasonable guy.
Sure. I mean, sure. You're an investigator. I mean, are you an investigator?
Something along those lines. Listen, I got a case that I can't quite seem to figure out, and I happened to see you walking by, and was wondering if I could get your advice. See, there's this guy that one of my clients has been looking for, who's been just all over the place, and unfortunately has wound up in some pretty in a bit of a negative light. Yeah, it's a real shame. He seems like a stand-up guy, you know? Just kind of throws his money everywhere. And it gets him into a little bit of trouble sometimes, kind of shoots him in the foot or the knee.
Yeah, I mean,
So listen, let's say I wanted to confront the guy.
I wouldn't.
No.
Do that.
Oh darn, I was gonna ask if maybe you thought he would, come nicely.
He probably, wouldn't. So, I probably wouldn't do that.
Fair enough. Now, Vic, you said?
Yeah, Vic. My name is Vic.
Vic, I also happen to find, and I think I pull the receipt from my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. We did say there was a shoe print on it, right?
Yeah, it's like one of those pieces of tissue paper.
Right. I guess I was gonna ask, can I make out, the footprint, or is it not enough to,
Let's roll. We'll roll and see, if so, because you're here, and
well,
we'll make the roll.
Can I explain my reasoning so it doesn't,
Yeah, sure, no, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So I worked in a lot of, fast food, and so, or at least I used to. Thank God I don't anymore. There is, a specific type of shoe we have to wear that's, non-slip to make sure that... And so...
Yeah, no, I remember wearing that shoe.
So
absolutely.
They've all got the same kind of, print on them.
Yeah.
And so I want to,
Yeah.
I don't know, I want to try and see the bottom of his foot, see if I can match that to the receipt. But I think, now that I'm saying that out loud, it sounds really stupid.
No, I think that's perfect, because, it is a common, it is a common shoe, and so, even seeing the top of it, you should be able, an investigator would be able to be that's the shoe. So yeah, I think that's perfect. I think, so we'll roll for it, and, see what happens. Yeah, because I think that's good investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, I got it. Actually, I got it. On a success, there are footprints on the mopped floor.
Yes. Oh no, I love that. Okay. I like that. I like that better.
There it is. I'm gonna be rolling. I'm gonna be rolling 3 for cunning.
And hold on, what am I rolling for?
You're rolling your obsession.
Okay. Oh, good.
So I'm gonna up this by 1 with
Okay.
a plot point. Make it an even 4 versus 4. Because this is big. I got a 6.
So did I.
Okay, my second was a 4. You have a 5?
I do.
Great. Okay, then you get 2 evidence, and we can move. Okay, so the closing scene, yeah. So what happens is exactly that. You pull out the thing and you start to say something. And then you see that he's been pacing, really is more accurately, because the footprints are back and forth on this freshly mopped floor, which is weird. But the footprints are a dead match.
Mm-hmm. I give him a wink and walk out without buying anything. Sorry. Thank you so much for your help, Vic. You've been very eye-opening.
No problem. No problem at all. No problem. Have a nice night. Good luck with the home loan. I'm sorry. And he kind of shuffles off.
I think I just chuckle and keep walking.
Yeah. So, I think that might be the this version of the filing paperwork scene is going back and realizing that he said a thing about a home loan.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. Now he knows where I live, and maybe things aren't as maybe I'm not quite as confident about facing him.
Oh no.
As I originally thought.
Well, that changes. That means that I know that. Oh no. Because I was going to try to go through with the murder on the guy that I've been scoping, but no, not now. All right. I'm going to give a roll to this framing table.
I had to say something.
So, our high roll is 5, but we've got 2 white and a red, so nobody gets points. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the 3 vectors in play, and this is going to set up the final confrontation, are: father was a bank teller. Female police officer friend killed in duty. Brother is a police officer. So, the scene is you pull up. You pull up at the house. Empty. Car's out. You look at your phone, which is, I guess, been on silent. You know, you're on the job.
Yeah, I'm talking to people. I'm doing stuff.
Right. You see a number of missed calls. One from your brother, which you haven't spoken to him in a while.
Not since I left the team. And
a few, maybe like 3 and 2 voicemails and like 3 texts from Lizzie.
What do the texts say?
At the most recent one just says, "Please call me. You're worrying me." Before that, staying at Janine's. Gwyneth is with me.
I call her.
Third one says, "I got a message from your brother." So you call her. She picks up. "Oh my God, you're alive. Oh, thank God you're alive."
Yes, I'm alive.
You're not at the house, right?
I mean, I'm there now. What's going on? Are you okay?
You have to leave. Your brother called. You can't be there. They think that. Oh no, you can't be at the house. You can't be at the house.
Breathe,
Just meet me at Janine's. Meet me at Janine's, please. They think that whomever, like the MURDER, they think that the person that took the loan application is the same person that is doing the murders. I said it. I said murders. I said the words.
Calm down, okay? Calm down. I'm leaving, and I will be there as soon as I can.
All right. She hangs up. Okay. I love you. I love you.
I love you too.
I'm sorry. I meant it when I said it was we'll talk later. We'll talk later.
We'll talk later. I'll see you in a bit, okay?
You hang up.
Mm-hmm.
You start to head back to the car, and there is a busted up old, like, Chevy Nova parked along the street in front of your house. Vic is inside. You see him in the driver's seat. I'm going to roll for compulsion, and you're going to roll your conscience.
Conscience, you said?
Yes.
Alright, and I'm going to use a plot point.
Okay. So I'm rolling 3, you are rolling 3.
Mm-hmm.
Ha! I got a 3. I didn't do very well.
I also got a 3. My highest after that is a 2.
I have a 3 and 2 2s.
Same.
I guess re-roll. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I guess.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and call it, because I think it's more interesting this way. I think it's more interesting. Yeah, I think it's more interesting to have a scene and end it peacefully-ish. Or let's play out the scene. Let's roleplay the scene, and we'll just let it end where it ends. But you've got the evidence, so I'm comfortable. So like,
okay. No, I think I know what Athens does.
Okay, what does Athens do?
I think first she texts her brother his license plate number.
Oh, that's good.
And then she walks up to the passenger side, gives a tap on the window, and waits for him to roll down, and...
He leans over and has to manually crank it. He cranks down the window. And he's shaking. He's shaking, and his one hand is like vice gripped on the wheel, and his other hand goes right back. And he's not looking at you. He's just shaking and looking ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm not I'm sorry I'm not your usual, clientele.
I'm sorry, too. 'Cause I have to hurt you now, and I don't want to. You're not a bad person. You're applying for a loan. You're just like me. You're trying to have a life.
And I'm just doing my job. And you don't...
But you quit your job. You quit the force. You're not a cop. You're not a cop.
No, I'm not. I'm still trying to make a living, though. I'm still investigating things. And I'm still trying to, make a life for my wife and kid.
You got a wife and kid. You have a wife and kid, and I have to hurt you, and it's gonna hurt them. I don't want to hurt you, but it's gonna hurt. Oh, but I have to, because if I don't hurt you...
You don't have to. We can get you the help that you need so you don't have to hurt anyone.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I don't believe you, because that makes me think you're a liar, and that means that I have to hurt you. And
okay.
His hand reaches for the...
Vic, look at me.
He's not looking at you, and his hand is reaching for the glove compartment.
Do you want to see a picture of my kid? She's real cute, got dimples and everything.
God damn it, I don't want to see a picture of your kid. Yes, I want to see a picture of your kid.
No, come on.
I do.
And I think I'd pull a picture of Gwen out of my wallet, and I kind of like lean across the seat and wait for him to take it.
And that's what catches his eye, and he looks at it just quiet for a long time, and like a smile. Mm-hmm. So the police lights start flickering, red and blue, as he kind of smiles, and his hand that's towards the glove compartment just grabs his wallet from the cup holder and pulls out a picture of Gary. And he's like, This is Gary. He's nice. We've been going for a few weeks. He's nice.
Oh, he's a cutie. Y'all look like a good couple.
I think we could have been a good couple. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then the lights surround the red and blue lights surround the both of you. And that's game.
All right.
Okay. So some quick decompression. Nice. I am feeling really good. That was a very good ending.
I liked it, yeah.
Oh, dang. All right. That was good. I really like that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you for playing with me.
Oh, thank you so much for suggesting it and for coming on the show. This was super cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
This was a blast. So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find your work online?
You can find me on Twitter at King Coal Miner, and you can find the amazing podcast that I do at, oh shit, hold on. I have to find it on,
I think it's...
You can find us on Tumblr and on Twitter at Blue Dawncast.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a blast. I loved it,
Thank you.
Loved it. Let me throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Cole for coming onto the show. That was a hell of a game. Be sure to check out Blue Dawncast. I think they're telling some really interesting, engaging, fun stories that I think you're going to really enjoy. You can find more information at soundcloud.com/BlueDawncast. You should also follow Blue Dawncast on Twitter at Blue Dawncast. You should follow Cole on Twitter at King Cole Miner. And while you're on Twitter, you should follow this show at Party of One Pod, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/PartyOfOnePodcast. If you enjoy the show, consider leaving us a nice iTunes review, social media shout-out, or word-of-mouth recommendation. All of those things help us find new listeners and grow and do bigger, better, and cooler things. If you'd like to hear more from me, you should check out All My Fantasy Children, the podcast in which Aaron Catano and I take your listener prompts and turn them into beautiful, thriving, vibrant role-playing game children. That can be found at soundcloud.com/allmyfantasychildren. And if you want to further support the show, consider backing us on Patreon. Patreon dollars help cover hosting fees, as well as paying for new equipment and upgrades like the brand new Blue Yeti microphone that I'm speaking into that I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really excited about. It's a super cool microphone that has a lot of cool features that I didn't have before, and it's going to make in-person recordings sound a lot better. Sorry, I'm excited. I'm babbling a little bit. Thanks. I did this thanks to our Patreon support. I deeply appreciate it. The Patreon can be found at patreon.com/PartyOfOnePodcast. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you'd like to talk advertising rates coming onto the show, or you just want to swap cocktail recipes, shoot me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. That's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. And party on.
Never gonna die. No, we're never gonna die. You can hear my words in this song. It'll play on after I'm gone.
In a dirty, empty, unmarked room in the middle of nowhere, a man wakes up with a pounding headache. Bump, 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 bump. He looks down, and he is wearing an old, gray, fraying, dirty suit. His head still just throbbing. He reaches up for his temple, and out, there's a bruise there. Swollen and discolored and pulsating and pounding pain. Ow, shit, what the fuck happened? What the fuck am I wearing? Where am I? He tries to move, but he's caught. His foot is caught. He looks down and his right ankle is manacled to the floor. What? No, what the fuck is this? From the dark, footsteps, a voice. Despite his violent history, Lazenby was brought in unharmed, thanks to the efforts of private investigator Athens McKenzie. Despite his violent history, brought in unharmed, thanks to a private investigator. The manacled man looks around. His eyes are starting to adjust now, and there are dirty dollar bills lining the floor. District Attorney Chip Schellenbecker. Now there's a name for you. Schellenbecker said that despite his violent history, Lazenby was cooperative with police, and a conviction should come quickly. What a happy ending, right? What a happy ending. Happy endings for all. A shotgun is cocked. He tries to fight a little bit, and then wham! Rifle butt to the back of the head. He goes woozy. He starts to drift. He feels someone grab his free foot, but he can't quite fight back. And then the burst. And suddenly he's all too awake. He screams, he gurgles, he vomits a little bit, he goes limp. No, stay awake, stay with me, one more second, stay awake, motherfucker! Slap to the face. The man barely stays awake, just long enough to see the second barrel of the gun pointed at him. A finger squeezes a trigger.